Okay, good day everyone. This is our discussion for our topic process management in hospitality supply chain. So as you can see on the title, it's process management. So we are expecting here that we are going to learn different strategies or what are the ways in order for the supply chain of the business become more effective or becomes more effective in making the business much more successful, thus creating total customer satisfaction while reaching or exceeding their expectations. So let us define first what is process management. So when we say process management in hospitality supply chains, this involves the systematic design, the execution, the monitoring, and improvement of all the processes that deliver value to guests. Of course, in order for us to implement a certain strategy or implement a certain standard, you need first to have a design or to have a plan, and then execute those plans. And then after that, we need to also see what are the effects of those plans by monitoring those plans and what are the improvements or the pros and cons of implementing that kind of processes and how it will really affects customer satisfaction. Since here in our industry, hospitality industry, we are not only dealing or having the tangible products, we are also giving services, or let's say this is a service incentive industry, wherein it is a really an expectation from the customers for us to treat them 100% or even more to exceed their expectation. And the responsiveness here based on this presentation is real time, meaning there are different scenarios, there are different incidents per day, so that with that, it's not really you are going to select whom to serve with quality standard, but it is a must to have a consistent quality services and product deliveries to guests. Such activities are the following, and of course, specifically in supply chains, we have procurement of goods, the inventory management, the food and beverage operations, housekeeping, maintenance, and guest services. So, as I enumerated all of those activities, there are different activities at the same time. There are sub activities that should be in a standard form, and not just in standard form, but of course the delivery, the execution should match the demand or the request of the customers. So for example, hotel supply chains begin with sourcing raw materials like the linens, food ingredients, and cleaning supplies, and extend to delivering the final service experience to guests. So in this way, effective process management ensures that each link in this chain operates efficiently, minimize waste, reduce costs, and maintain high service quality. And in order to achieve this, hospitality organizations have different strategies or systems, such as Lean Thinking, Six Sigma, DMAIC, and SIFO frameworks to optimize their operations. Okay, so when we say lean thinking, this focuses on maximizing customer value while minimizing waste. Of course, especially in the business, we need to really think of ways on how we can make our products or services or raw materials sustainable, no? To make those products useful in so many forms or in so many ways, and because all of those raw materials are being paid by the monetary value which added to our cost. So it is a very important consideration to think of ways in order to minimize the wastages, thus increasing, of course, the value for the customers orders for products and our services. So we have here different example in procurement and inventory. It's all about the food supply ordering, in which in a restaurant industry, and of course in a hotel with also different products, tangible products, we are basing our forecast on data such as the past historical data. For example, how much is the or was the total sales during that month that you can apply to this year same month. So you have this basis before you do forecast in order for you to save lots of costs and to make all those resources useful in ways. And of course, how are you going to use wastages to become more productive? What are the sustainable measures that you are thinking so that those messages could have more uses or advantages rather than waste it directly and will not use, or it will add up just to the cost. Okay. And for the housekeeping, we have different activities in housekeeping. And if the room attendant or the housekeeping attendant doesn't know what are the standards or the ways in order for them to minimize wasted motion, as we all know in housekeeping, the rooms that are being cleaned by a room attendant should be in the proper or in the standard number, because if that room is not yet available for occupancy, even it is that the guest was is already checked out on that room cannot be sold. Okay, so if the housekeeping staff really look into how they can strategize in cleaning, and they follow what motion to execute in order to save time, they could really hit the target of the number of rooms to be cleaned in their shift. No? And that is very important in room turnover. Okay, and in which customers can accommodate promptly, and thus that hotel could build sales. Okay. And then the next one is a guest check-in procedure. So Lean can streamline front desk operation by introducing self-kiosk or mobile check-in options. And as of now, we have different distribution channels that could help in check-in process. And in some hotels, they have this kiosk or mobile check-in. That's what I'm talking about. We are using the power of internet and technology to fasten the check-in process, thus creating more demands, no? Thus making the hotel more profitable by reaching all the possible guests, not just walk-in guests, but possible guests, maybe or mostly could be in the entire Philippines, or much way greater guests coming from different countries. Okay. Okay, so lean principle or lean system have five principles in hospitality. Okay. So the first principle is value. When we say value, this is defined what the guest values. Mostly in hospitality industry, the guest really values on speedy service, the comfort, and it also includes the ambience of the establishment, the cleanliness, and of course, personalization. The guest really wants to feel that they are being valued, in our industry, and that is what other establishments are doing. They are really prioritizing or valuing the guests by, for example, putting or writing on their name or on the cup of their coffee. and then somehow they will call them. And in that simple way, we can really see, and the guest could feel that they are really valuable. Okay, so that's personalization. Next one is value stream. So all the steps in the service process should be planned. Okay, and then what are the steps that are really valuable, and what are the steps that could be improved or could be improvised now in order for those steps to be useful. Okay, that's value streaming. And the next is flow. We have different departments in hospitality business, and each of every department has its very important role in order for the business to become successful. And we need to have a smooth transition or transaction between each and every department. For example, housekeeping to front desk. Example that the housekeeping department don't inform the front desk or doesn't inform the front desk about the guest room availability. So what will happen? Possible the rooms that are not really ready on occupancy could be recorded as ready. So what will happen if the guests arrive and the guest room is not really prepared? Okay? Or it's not prepared for occupancy. What will happen? Of course, the guests will complain. Okay, so we must ensure that there is a smooth flow between our transition between each and every department, because all of those departments are representation of a single business establishment. Okay, and the next one is pull. So we need to provide services based on guest demand rather than forecasts. No, so yes, we could we could use the forecast, but it's a case to case basis if there is a fluctuation of demand. So we really need to study to look on the possible reasons why there is a fluctuation, no? And we need to provide services based on that reason why the demand is fluctuating. So in that way, we are really going to think of strategies in order to gain back, no, customers and to have profit. Okay? Because sometimes when we forecast, there is a possibility, of course, all forecasts could not be perfect. But if we really study a certain scenario about, for example, environmental conditions that are very uncontrollable, political instability, no, we could really pull services or provide services appropriately. Okay, thus it will increase the demand or the sales. Okay, next one is perfection. So for perfection, while we are continuously doing those processes, we are accepting feedback. We really look into the performance data. We can really gain this perfection in the business, and there are lots of manifestations or evidences that this could be achieved by continuous practicing of the SOPs, or always looking on the ways to improve and being consistent on the policies execution. Okay, so again, here in hospitality industry, in order to apply Lean 5 principles, we have the value stream, the flow, pull, and perfection. So we really need to think of strategies on how we really could improve our services to them by considering this Lean 5 principles. Okay. like what I have said, there are various factors that really affects the demand. First one is environmental factors. When we say environmental factors, these are seasonal changes, significantly impact lean practices in hospitality, affecting inventory management and service delivery efficiency. Like, for example, typhoons, the volcanic eruptions, eh, pandemic. So these are the changes that really have a big impact on the demand of the guest. For example, during the pandemic, previous year, you have high sales, but because of the pandemic, same month, but the year is the what is in the situation is we have COVID pandemic. All of the people or all people are not allowed to go outside. No? So expectedly, you do not have enough customers, or you do not have customers to buy all the products and services. No? That's why it is really a big factor. Environmental factors, seasonal changes is a really a big factor that influence the demand. So with this, what are the ways in order for you to mitigate the risk or to lessen the problem? Of course, you need to strategize of the ways. You need to think of the sustainability practices. So some other establishments during those times, they do customer relationship management or CSR. They are contributing all of the ingredients, all the leftover ingredients that could not be sold because of the rules that they should not accept or people are not able to come out or to go outside. No, they donated all the products to people, and some are giving also their employees. And that was a very good example of sustainability and strategizing. So when the time comes that the situation normalizes, like what is happening now, that certain establishment could be remembered by the people or community they helped, no? Because they do CSR. They strategize. They look for the ways on how not to waste the products, but to have another use for the products being delivered to them during those time of pandemic. Another one is cultural factors. So for cultural factors, importantly, the communication, collaboration, it really enhanced team dynamics and it fosters a culture of continuous improvement and efficiency. And it's very important to or collaborate with the various departments or different departments like what we have the example housekeeping and front office to have team dynamics because in hospitality industry we cannot live alone, we cannot do task alone. We really need to communicate, collaborate, to be a good team player in order for the business to run smoothly, coordinate everything with different departments so that customers could be reflected or your business is a reflection that you are really having a teamwork and it will outshine or it will shine, no, throughout the services and products you are giving your customers. Okay. Okay, so another strategy is the Six Sigma strategy. For its origin, it began at Motorola in 1986. This focused on reduction of defects and ensuring quality in processes. So for 1920, so this is a timeline of Six Sigma history and the significant events in connection to Six Sigma. 1920, this is under Walter A. Shewart. It relates sigma variation to industrial processes. It shows that 3 sigma variation from the mean is where a process requires correction. Okay, the next one is on 1975. This is in the leadership of Dr. Mikel Hari, an engineer at Motorola, begins to experiment with problem solving through statistical analysis and starts development of Six Sigma methodology. And then the next one is by Bill Smith on 1985, created the term Six Sigma on the following year, and Dr. Michael J. Harry published the first formal description of Six Sigma. In 1987, Motorola founded the Six Sigma Improvement Program, and just a year later, the company received the first Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award. What is Six Sigma? This is both philosophy and a methodology for improving business processes by minimizing defects and variation. The name Six Sigma comes from statistics, where the Greek letter or the symbol of the sigma represents the standard deviation, a measure of how much variation exists in a set of data. In order to understand why it's called Six Sigma, it helps to look at of how it connects to process performance and profitability. And in connection to the statistical meaning of Six Sigma, in a normal distribution or the bell curve, this is the bell curve, most data points cluster around the mean or in the average, and fewer appears as you move away from it. Each sigma represents one standard deviation from the mean. If a process is centered and performing at a Six Sigma level, it means that the nearest specification limit, the point where a product or service would be considered defective, is six standard deviations away from the mean. So the statistical that is the statistical meaning of Six Sigma. Again, no, in which six standard deviations away from the mean. So meaning the point where a product or service would be considered defective, and at a Six Sigma level, it means that the nearest specification limit is at six standard deviation. Okay. Okay, so this level of control results in only 3.4 defects per million opportunities, or DPMO, an extremely high level of quality. And for comparison, when we see 1 sigma, this is equivalent to 690,000 defects per million. So it means a very poor quality. And then 3 sigma is 66,800 defects per million. This is the average quality. And for the Six Sigma, only 3.4 defects per million, in which this is representing a world-class quality. So in the concept or in the business term, Six Sigma was popularized by Motorola in 1980. So that's what I have presented to you in the previous slide, and later adopted by companies like General Electric. The idea was to use statistical tools and structured problem solving to make processes more predictable and efficient. So the goal is to reduce variation, make processes consistent, eliminate defects or anything that doesn't meet customer requirements will be eliminated, and improve capability, in which this ensures processes can meet specification reliability. Okay? So in hospitality industry, since we are dealing with customers or different customers every day, no, it means there are lots of variation. But when we do our variation in terms of the service experience or the scenario, but if we are always into following what should be done or what should be the standard operating procedure, there will be a reduction of variation and comparison as well. Okay, customers can will not able to compare the services, no, from other customers. For example, within the same cafe, they will not compare negatively. Instead, they will compare in a positive note because there is no variation in terms of services offered to them. And then, of course, elimination of defects. No, it should be that the customers will be satisfied or we exceed their expectations towards us, and always improve capability. No, training, okay, team building. So that's also a very important event, no, in terms of on how we are able to inspire our employees, no, in order to for them to become loyal to us and become more productive. Okay, so for the Six Sigma in hospitality supply chain, Six Sigma focuses on reducing process variation and defects through data-driven analysis. And in hospitality, where the consistency is very critical, as what I've mentioned a while ago, that there are lots of scenarios happening every day, Six Sigma ensures that every process from supplier performance to guest service delivery meets defined quality standards. Okay, so here are the examples of how we can apply Six Sigma in different hospitality activities or within a certain business, within hospitality facility. For example, in supplier quality management, a hotel chain may use Six Sigma to evaluate supplier performance by tracking defect rates in delivered goods. So, for example, damaged linens or expired food items. Supplier with high defect rates can be retrained or replace. Another one is in F&B operations. A restaurant within a hotel may use Six Sigma when we have or analyzing variation in meal preparation. So it should be standardized in order to ensure consistent service or consistent time preparation for each and every meal. And then another is guest experience. Six Sigma tools can control or like control charts can monitor guest satisfaction, scores over time, and if satisfaction drops below a certain threshold, root cause analysis can identify issues such as staff shortages or inconsistent service quality. So yes, maintaining the expectation or giving the expectation of the customer is very crucial, or having the guests the positive experience towards an establishment is somehow difficult to maintain. So that's why it's very important that we have a control charts, or some other example is a feedback form in order for us to know what what are the areas that we need to improve. Okay, so this is also connected to how we can really see the ways, no, in making the services much more into standard quality. Okay. Okay, so we have here another framework which is called DMAIC framework. So DMAIC framework stands for Define, Measure, Analyze, Improves, and Control. It provides a structured approach to process improvement within hospitality supply chains. D stands for define. So in defining a problem, we need to look what problem affecting supply chain performance, such as, for example, frequent stockouts or delayed deliveries. And the next is measure. So measure is about data collection on supplier lead times as well as inventory levels and service delays. Analyze meaning we need to know what are the root causes of the problems. Okay? For example, supplier coordination, which is poor and inaccurate demand forecasting. Another is improve or the implementation of solutions. No? For example, automated inventory systems or supplier performance data. And then last is control, in which we are going to monitor or to have a monitor mechanism in order to sustain the improvements, no, of what the problem arises. And like regular supplier, it is on the auditing and performance reviews. Okay, so this is the MAIC framework. Okay, so let's have an example using the MAIC framework. Number one is reducing guest check-in time at a hotel. So in defining, we can guests can have a complaint about long check-in times during peak hours, leading to dissatisfaction and negative reviews. And for the measure, data shows that the average check-in time is 12 minutes, while the target is 5 minutes. So in your example, you can see how long the interval that it should be, that is expected, than that is being done. No? So of course, all customers will feel bad about when having a late check-in. So as we are showing on the example. Another is analyze. So what are the root causes, or what is the root cause of the bottlenecks? No, what is the root cause of the problem? And is there a limitation in terms of deployment of staff or slow processing system, or even in the data entry? So we need to identify the problem and analyze the problem. And then next is improve. So for improve, it introduced mobile check-in options, pre-arrival registrations, and digital payment system, and reassigning staff during peak hours to balance their workload. Okay, so that's why it's not regular to see that the staff are lacking. So it's very important to increase the sales so that you can also increase your labor costs, no? And then you are able to have lots of staff to work for you. Okay? Next is the last is control, and then it is about monitoring check-in times, the daily collection of guest feedback, and conduct monthly performance reviews to ensure the improvements are being sustained. So it's important to have this one, the control framework, in which it's always that we have something to improve, but we need to monitor the execution of the solutions or the improvements, if it's really done or it's really effective. Okay, so that is control. Okay, another example is the reduction of food waste in a hotel restaurant. So in terms of defining, the restaurant generates excessive food waste and cause an environmental impact. Okay, so we all know that we have only 25 to 40% food cost percentage. So if it exceeds into that percentage, again, it means that the cost is increasing and you need to do something in order to decrease the cost. Next one is waste audit that shows 30% of food prepared is discarded daily. It should be minimized because 30% is high. No? So 30% is still 30% of what, or partial of what you should earn. Okay? So it should be deducted. Okay, next one is analyze. So due to inaccurate guest forecast and poor communication between the kitchen and front desk, overproduction was occurred. Okay, so what will you do? You need to improve. Improve real-time communication, because sometimes communication is um, not just on how you will talk to some ideas that you have, but also to of course, especially in having a business, to correct some actions that should not be done. Okay, and the next is track control, or track or controlling. No, so control track daily waste levels, adjust supplier orders based on occupancy rate, and review performance monthly. So you need to control the waste, you need to adjust supplier orders, no, and the occupancy rate, and review performance monthly. So you need to see all of those. Okay, so next we have the SIFOC and supply chain. So this is SIFOC represents suppliers, inputs, process, outputs, and customers. This is a high level of process mapping tool that helps visualize the entire supply chain and clarify relationship between stakeholders. It is often used at the start of the Lean Six Sigma project to define process boundaries. Okay, so we have here the example. We have the supplier now as the list of hotel suppliers, okay, of the materials and the services, and then for the input, list of hotel input. So we have materials and services, and then for the process, customer focus, and then supporting the operations. And then for the input, we have customer focus as well, no, for the output, and then other hotel internal and external products and services. For the customer, of course, the hotel guests, the events guests, and other internal and external customers. So for the internal customers, we have the employees, no? For the external customers, we have the suppliers, our competitors as well. No? They are also playing as customers as well. Okay. Okay, so let's have an example for suppliers. Now, in hotel linen supply chain, we are going to use SIFO, no, in supply chain. So for supplier, laundry service providers, the linen manufacturers, the housekeeping department. And then for the input, of course, we are going to use cleanliness, detergent, delivery schedules, and even the staff availability. Input means these are the resources that we are going to use. No, even it is a manpower, even it's all the materials that you will use in a certain establishment. Next is the process, all of the methods, no, of the activities for the execution of the input. Okay, so we have the for example, receiving of linens, inspecting quality of linens, distributing to rooms, collect used linens, and sending for cleaning. And then for the outputs, we have be ready to use linens, waste, not even the reports, and then the supplier feedback. Then for the customers, we have the guests, housekeeping supervisors, and hotel managers. Okay, so this is the SIFOC and supply chain. No? Again, SIFOC stands for supplier inputs, process outputs, and the customer. So we can see that as an establishment is a profitable one if they can really maximize their inputs. They could produce bulk number of outputs out of their inputs, and those productivity or productions, can really contribute to high profitability rate. Okay. Okay, for the food and beverage supply chains, we have the supplier, the local farmers, distributors, beverage companies, the inputs, the ingredients, the packaging materials, delivery schedules. So all of the resources again and process, the procurement, storage, preparation, service, and then feedback collection. For the outputs, quality meals, satisfied guests, and then raise reports. And then for customers, we have the hotel guests, restaurant, patrons, events, and clients. So by using SIFO hospitality management can identify, or managers can really identify inefficiencies, and they can clarify all those deficiencies. So by ensuring that every step in supply chain contributes to guest satisfaction, they can really solve customer complaints, and it will contribute to higher productivity and to a larger benefit for the company or for the business. Okay? Okay, so for the integration of Lean thinking, Six Sigma with DMAIC, no, and the SIPOC in hospitality process management, these methodologies create a comprehensive framework for managing and improving hospitality supply chains. Again, no, Lean thinking eliminates waste and enhances value creation. Six Sigma ensures consistency and quality through data-driven control. Okay? And then DMAIC means that it provides a structured roadmap, no, for continuous improvement, and SIPOC offers a clear overview of process, relationship, and dependencies. Okay, so let's integrate. Okay, so improving the hotel breakfast supply chain. For the SIPO methodology, we have the mapping the breakfast process from supplier delivery to guest consumption. So it's important that we know where the product is, what is the situation of the product, where is the product coming from, what time will be the arrival or when will be the arrival of the products, no? So that you are able to uh, project, no, in an appropriate manner, or you can able to forecast righteously. Okay. Next is lean. Okay, so lean identify waste such as overproduction and unnecessary movement in the kitchen. Again, it should be 25 to 40% food cost percentage, and above to that will lead to losses. Okay. Next is Six Sigma, analyzes the variation in food preparation times and guest satisfaction scores. So we can have here a feedback form, to identify what must be improved. And then the food preparation time. So if it's you can have a method or a way on how the service will move, in the way that all the customers will be served in a short span of time, but of course the quality of the food should be maintained. Okay, and then DMAIC, defining the problem. For example, what's the problem? The food waste. Measure performance. It's analyzing causes. Improve processes is batching, cooking, and forecasting, and then control. It's about daily monitoring. Okay. Okay, so for the review questions, and this is your assignment in your Google Classroom, explain how lean thinking helps reduce waste and improve efficiency in hospitality supply chains. Number two, describe how Six Sigma ensures consistency and quality in the hotel or restaurant operations. Next is using the DMAIC framework outline on how a hotel could improve its guest check-in and processes. And then another is create a SIFOC diagram for housekeeping or food service process in hospitality setting, and discuss on how integrating Lean Six Sigma, DMAIC, and SIFOC can enhance guest satisfaction and operational performance in the hospitality industry. Okay? So that's it for our discussion. Here are the references. Thank you so much for listening, and kindly comply with all the activities posted on our GCR. Thank you so much, guys.